All right, then let's show the demo. Let's just when you're pulling up the Claude desktop, I just want to set some expectations. Is Claude just released a new uh, is it considered protocol? I guess MCP. We Balaji, I've been
Model context, yeah, model
successfully
context.
the context. Okay, and then it is something that I'm excited about because it is to me anybody who can get it configured, which took me forever. And since Balaji was a technical guy, he did it a lot faster than me, or at least he recognized it and did it faster than me. And so we were able to create it, and then it has access to a lot of tools, just like we talked about. Um, we've been able to install some tools, give it access to be able to reach out, go out to the internet and interact because we gave it a new tool. So it to me, it kind of I'm excited about it. When you read the reviews about it, a lot of people are excited about it. Some people it's not really, it's just a repackaging. To me personally, you have this intelligent layer and you're giving it tools and now can use tools to make your answers complete or do tasks for you. I just think it's exciting. So, saying that, I'll hand it off to you. Tell us what this can do, what you did. We don't have to go into the setup of it, but just talk about
Yeah,
how can people use it for being an agent.
right, absolutely. So the key development here is, I think it's two part. One is the context preservation, and the second part is the ability to orchestrate these tool calls, right, and get the stuff done in a standardized way with a client server. They call it the model context protocol, which is a standardization to interact with the large language model with the data you provide, either through tooling or directly through accessing your file system and providing chunks of text. Again, you can write these tools whichever way you want it, right? So again, we know the race is on to get to your data. It's always going to be, because the LLMs have reached the limit where whatever publicly available data is done right now. This is also one of the reasons. The Claude had this technology, OpenAI has this technology, all of these guys have this technology too. So why open source it? Right? So the open sourcing, it makes you play with it and achieve your own local environment. Whatever, like Rajni, you said you might build your own agentic network to go start a fintech in your basement, right? It doesn't matter, right? It opens up the possibility for everyone to do it, but at the same time, it achieves few things for the big guys as well, right? No matter what you do, it is still a LLM that's out there in the internet, and data travels from your PC in chunks to third party. I just want to tell you guys that for the audience, it's still traveling. It's not traveling in the raw format. That's the only difference. What does it even mean, right? If you present a document of your PhD thesis and you're starting to ask questions, it's not published yet, chunks and pieces of it are still traveling to Claude, right? Based on the questions you're asking, and that's the. It's okay. It's a tiny price to pay for a lot of efficiency, and but I'm just saying this is the state of the first thing that I noticed, right? It's not local. It's a Claude desktop is kind of a misnomer. It's a shell to take your data and present it to Claude and bring it back, right? So that's the first thing. Because I was excited. Okay, Claude has something. I have a GPU machine. Let's go download it. Let's run it locally, and it's just piping data through, right? And yes, the good thing I learned that this has achieved, at least in a sense from before, is that it's standardizing the way where we are operating with our data in kind of a protected environment. I mean, it's starting to look that way, right? What does it even mean, right? So let's say first thing I did was I plugged in the file system server, MCP server, right? Now it executes commands on a restricted folder that you present. Let's say I shared one folder in my drive. It operates on only that folder in a sandbox or a shell that is restricted. So that, what does it even mean? So it can't. The software, you're preventing the Claude desktop or a client or any other thing that communicates to the server from traveling from your restricted folder to all over the disk and trying to scrape and steal and do all that stuff, right? So it's starting off with an environment like a sandbox. So that's a good thing, right, with this MCP, right? A similar thing, again, they use UVX, which is kind of giving you that, and use it for very short tasks. And for the longer duration MCP servers, they are presenting it with Node.js, which can be containerized, and you can seal it off, and you can make sure things stay whatever, right? So that's the first goal, right? How can I keep it, the data, whatever code is getting executed, how can it not get infected and travel, right? So that's the first step towards that. So these MCP servers are coming with a framework for that. Right? So either Node.js or UX or whatever. And on the protocol side, it looks much similar to the function calling, right? The only difference being now we are publishing the schema saying, hey, my name is tool X, and I can achieve this function looking up weather, and this is a short description of what I can do, and here is the arguments that you can pass me, a city and a date, right? So this is the basic of it. And what I did when I'm playing with is I just connected two of those servers. One is the file system to see whether it can do something with my files. The second one, with the help of you, Rajni, we connected the Brave search. So there's the API key, so you can go search. Actually, you have three. Third one, I had a SQLite local database, so I can do some fun queries to see whether database queries can be conversational. Those are the three things connected to this system. So the setup is this. You have Cloud Desktop talking to three MCP servers, one doing file system, one doing SQL Server, one doing the Brave search. And we can see how it is interacting, right? It's the interface is good. It's asking you permission, all kind of good stuff, but still there's data traveling all over the map. So
Yeah, I think it'll be good to highlight, like, we only have three, right? Like, one of the things that's exciting to me from this whole MCP releases, people are creating, like, you can connect to GitHub, you can connect to Search. People are creating other quote unquote servers to be able to connect to even OpenAI, Obsidian. It just released a week ago, so it's not like it's there. But if it works well, it's almost like a marketplace I can see where people will develop these tools for their own good, but also now I can use that even if I'm not a super expert on any of these tools, I can use that and take advantage of this functionality with Claude as my intelligence layer. So that's what's exciting, is we're very early in just this stage. I know we're gonna get better with what Balaji talked about as far as prioritization, but I think the 27 that you see on the screen right now, in my analogy we talked about, is now it has 27 different tools available for it to use, right?
That's right. So these are the functions in tools that are published by the server, right? The Brave server publishes these two. So all of these you can see is it's going to give you the name, and then it has a description of what it can do, and there's a schema that's not shown here, which basically says what is the function call look like, what do you need to pass, and based on that, the large language model will invoke it to achieve certain things. So you have Brave, you have file system things called create directory, a whole bunch of file system stuff, and then there should be a SQLite somewhere, maybe.
So from a use case, a SQL, if you had a SQL database, local database, and you wanted to interact with the contents of it, ask questions in a natural language, is that where you see the best use for this?
Correct. So if you see, we have this Brave Search MCP server. This is a fetch, which is direct HTTP request to some URL. File server, memory server is basically something that can help the large language model keep a longer context window, longer context locally, so it can keep it locally, right? So one of the concerns here is you're sending everything and it's accumulating on the other side. So this is another way to overcome that, is what they are saying. We have to see how that works. SQLite is another server. So yeah, that's again, you can have Microsoft SQL Server, you can have Oracle, you can have whatever, right, for enterprise deployment. So this is again visualization how you can use it. It's beta, it's still buggy and stuff, but conceptually it should evolve that way.
Got it. All right, let's just show. So I think you did some of these runs, so let's see.
Right. So I'm just going to start over with the file system, asking the simple question, do you have access to my file system? As you can see, it's asking permission. for either this one query or whether this entire chat. I'm just going to give it for the entire chat so we don't see this prompt every single time. But this is a good demonstration of the software trying to earn your trust, right? So it's presenting based on the protocol, hey, this is a restricted file system. This is a file folder that I have access to. Do you really want me to work with it, right? So okay, let's allow that. So it's going to go find out which folder. So I gave it a folder draj output, which has a whole, like a bunch of 300 files in there, so that it can, it's all images. So one of the, I got excited, say, hey, maybe it knows how to read the image, but it's not as simple as it is. Like, let's say, can you describe the images in the folder? This shows how restrictive, based on the tool, this particular functionality is. This is just plain file system function. So it knows it's a PNG file. It knows what the attributes are, how big they are. Just like when you do a DIR or a LS or based on whatever operating system, it can tell you, but it has no access to the actual file itself. It didn't get access to see what the image is. So again, you can write the tool to present the whole thing. So it has the image, just like attachment, and it can tell you. But this file system server does not do that. So you can now see you have fine-grained control of, again, based on what you write, it can use only that functionality. And it says it doesn't have access to the actual image content, right? I don't actually have the capability to describe the content.
That's good to know. Whether it's true or false, it's good to know.
So so then I thought, okay, what I'll do with this, right? So then I can start doing some file system operations. So I basically said, hey, you have 300 files. I want it to be organized into 30 folders with 10 each, right? And see whether it can do that. And it went ahead.
Some of the jobs your intern will do. That's good.
It's just, exactly, it's just sorting files or organizing stuff. And it executes painfully one by one command, right? It just creates a folder that's create directory, one command, and then say move Raj 001 to folder 1 location, right? Then Raj 002. So it just went through with that. I can show you, because I think I stopped it at 30, now complete. Yes, that's the next set. So I'll show you what it is doing shortly afterwards. So now it's trying to move, and I'll allow this, and you can see what it does. Every command, it'll say source, destination, copy. Those source are moved, right?
Oh, it shows you too what's doing. Yeah.
Right. So while it is doing that, let's see what actually is happening. So this is basically the folder that I gave it, and it is moving stuff to folder 4, and you can see the sequence 37, 38, 39, 40. It's just executing command like a human, right? Copy this file to. Now, again, you might wonder, why doesn't it have the intelligence to move 10 files? The tool does not give it the capability, so it doesn't know. It can move 10 at a time, right? It doesn't know that it can do a range of files. So it's restricted to what the tool gives it.
Interesting.
So that's the simple file system thing, right? So this is, again, it is very simple, but it's still interesting because everybody sees these, oh, my computer gets automated by my voice. This is what it means underneath the hood, right? You can say, hey, open that file, or show me that thing, or do all these getting abstracted away into voice commands, but internally it still has to execute these commands to figure this out.